Straight ahead on CCX News, an officer remembered.
Not only losing him as a member of our department, but more importantly, a member of our family.
Plus, how Brooklyn Park is dealing with a destructive tree insect that dealt a blow to its prized city-owned golf course. But first, Senator Franken's decision to resign, and perspective from a former U.S. Senate appointee from Plymouth about what comes next. CCX News starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us. Al Franken says some of the allegations against him are untrue, but he says it is in the best interest of Minnesota to resign.
And now it's the job of Governor Mark Dayton to appoint Franken's successor. And today, Delane Cleveland spoke to the last Minnesotan who was appointed to the U.S. Senate.
Senator from Minnesota.
Thank you, Mr. President.
On the floor of the U.S. Senate, Senator Al Franken made an announcement that many expected.
Today, I am announcing that in the coming weeks, I will be resigning as a member of the United States Senate.
It's a fall from grace for the celebrity-turned-politician after mounting sexual misconduct allegations and dwindling support by fellow Democrats.
But this decision is not about me. It's about the people of Minnesota. It's become clear that I can't both pursue the Ethics Committee process and at the same time remain an effective senator for them.
When Franken does step down, it will be up to Governor Dayton to name his successor. Plymouth resident Dean Barkley knows a lot about that topic.
All of a sudden, bang, my life changed. And then I had to figure out how to become a senator.
Governor Ventura appointed Dean Barkley to the Senate following the death of Paul Wellstone in 2002. He served all of 62 days.
I stayed an independent, so I didn't have the Democrat or Republican caucus to assist me in getting an office up, hiring people, figuring out the rules, all that type of thing. So I basically had to start completely from scratch.
That's a challenge Franken's successor probably won't face because Governor Dayton will likely appoint a Democrat. But Barkley says he'll be interested to see who exactly Dayton will choose.
Because obviously, if the person wants to stay there, it means they're going to run for re-election. Governor Dayton can give them a huge boost, kind of a jump start and getting re-elected. Or he can seek out someone who does not have the intention of staying there and keeping out of the politics of the Senate race and just appoint someone who's very qualified, that will be a good caretaker, get what they can get done for the state of Minnesota, and then get on with their life.
There's still no word yet on when exactly Senator Franken will step down. Meanwhile, there's reports that Governor Dayton will likely appoint Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith to the post. Mike and Alex.
All right, thank you. Franken's decision could have some big implications for state and even national politics with President Trump's tax reform bill in the mix.
Franken's decision was seen as inevitable given mounting pressure from his party to resign.
I think he had to come to the conclusion that he couldn't be effective in terms of working in the Senate and representing Minnesota under these conditions.
At the state capitol, Governor Mark Dayton says he will decide in the next couple of days who will replace Franken. If the appointee wants to hold that Senate seat, that person will have to win a special election in November of 2018 to serve out the remainder of Franken's term until 2020.
At this point, we don't know who the governor is going to put in, and if the governor puts in somebody, is that person going to run in 2018? And if that person runs in 2018, assuming they win, are they going to run in 2020? A lot of imponderables at this point.
Schultz estimates the candidates who run for the U.S. Senate seat in November must each raise between $20 to $25 million in less than a year.
In other news now, some Crystal homeowners had a rude early morning wake-up call. Around 3 Thursday morning, a driver slammed into the side of a house in the 5600 block of Twin Lake Terrace North. And you can see the tire tracks in the snow where the vehicle left the road. According to Crystal police, the driver was impaired and tried to flee the scene. Officers later caught up with him and arrested the suspect. No one in the house was hurt. Well, Brooklyn Park Police are still trying to come to grips with the unexpected loss of one of their own.
Police Chief Craig Envoldson says Officer Andrew Seworth will be greatly missed.
I think everybody, including me, is still in that not acceptance phase right now. Because with some deaths, specifically when it's unexpected, it just takes you off your feet.
Officer Seworth was known as Big Andy. He started out with the Brooklyn Park Police Department as a patrol officer. This is video from 7 years ago when he was working the streets. He also did undercover narcotics work, and for a short time, he worked for the Hennepin County Violence Task Force. Seworth was with the department 14 years, and during his tenure, he won many awards, including Brooklyn Park Officer of the Year in 2014. He died Monday from a medical condition while vacationing with his family in Colorado. His colleagues say he is one of the nicest men on the planet.
He was so compassionate in how he dealt with the public or his coworkers. I mean, he's one of the nicest guys in the department.
Seworth was 39 years old. He is married to Brooklyn Park officer Sarah Seworth. They have 2 children. A fund is set up to help pay for funeral expenses, and we will have that information on our website.
At Brooklyn Park City Hall, City Council members approved a city budget that will include an overall property tax increase. The increase for 2018 will be 4.7%. The biggest reasons for that are salary and benefits, including a 9% spike in health care premiums. For homeowners of a median valued home whose property values went up by double digits, well, they can expect their city taxes to go up by at least $3 per month. The increase has some council members concerned about people on fixed incomes.
I just can't support it, just simply for the fact that I can't say to these people, I can't face them and say, yes, I voted for a budget that's increasing 6%, and I'm sorry you only got a 0.5% raise and you can't afford it anymore. I don't want my people to have to decide to pay for their taxes or buy their medicine for that month or buy bread for their table.
The budget was approved by a 5-2 vote, with council members Bob Maida and Mark Maida voting no.
In Maple Grove, more than 40% of residential property owners could see an increase in city taxes. Under the city's preliminary budget, the increase for 43% of homeowners is less than 5%. The increase is due to rising property values and the state legislature mandating that commercial property owners bear less of a tax burden.
Brooklyn Park's Edinburgh USA Golf Course is starting the long process of removing and treating ash trees. So far, 150 trees have been removed from the front 9. Other ash trees on the front 9 will be treated because they've been deemed essential to the playability of the golf course. This action is the first step in a 10-year process to combat what could be a catastrophic and expensive loss of trees.
We have 800 ash trees on property. If they were all to die at one time, we don't have the money to remove and clean up all those trees. So we're planning on doing a specific amount of dollar work each year.
Some trees will be replaced and work will continue next year. Still ahead, what's helping students shine at a Golden Valley Elementary School?
Plus, after reaching the state tournament for the first time since the 1950s, the Wayzata boys basketball team shoots for another strong season.
But first, flags at half-staff on this Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. We'll be right back. The classroom learning is much different today than it was when most of us were in school.
Gone are the rows of desks where everyone learns at the same pace. Instead, emphasis is placed on the individual learner. Reporter Shannon Slatton shows us an example of that in today's School Spotlight.
Birds and trees, people and plants, laughing and well, all lives are equal.
At Noble Elementary School,
Thousands of lives,
students shine.
Yeah! Now we're making music!
In music class, 5th graders master a song by a Minnesota composer with enthusiasm.
Peace and love, love and peace.
Behind this class and every group of learners, there's a teacher passionate about pushing students to do their best.
It's their first love, their first passion. That they're concerned about their kids and they really want to help them. So it's just over the top here with that, you know, the love and passion for students.
Noble Elementary is a Golden Valley neighborhood school, educating about 400 students in pre-K through 5th grade.
Noble's just awesome with the fact that our kids are going to come in and get a very well-rounded education.
Open your book and let's see what's going to happen to this poor elephant that's late for school.
Teachers recognize not everyone learns at the same pace, so often students are organized to learn in small groups. It's a way teachers can directly interact with students and encourage them to speak out about what they know.
Some of our quiet students in a small group will do more talking, which works some of the verbal skills, and they have really great ideas, but in a whole group, they get kind of nervous speaking out.
You can see students learning at their own pace all over Noble Elementary. These 4th graders are using a digital learning tool called Khan Academy.
Right now we're working on fractions, so I can differentiate it by choosing harder lessons for them or a little bit easier so they're all at their level.
Students can also use the program at home if they need more practice or are just curious to learn more about a subject.
Some kids really get into it.
Students really get into technology, and at Noble, teachers feed that appetite. Every student has a Chromebook, so you'll see them incorporated in classroom learning in many different ways. In media services, students are learning coding.
We're really just trying to give an opportunity for all students to have an opportunity to learn how to computer program.
Students at every level are learning coding, which requires math, English, and problem solving.
Computers really drive our society these days, and so for these young kids to have an opportunity to learn how to tell a computer what to do is a huge opportunity for them.
Opportunity is around every corner at Noble Elementary. When students make good choices, they are rewarded with a Roar ticket or a gold coin.
Whenever we can point out what the students are doing right, then they can start to build on that and want to do it more.
Emphasizing the positive builds students up and keeps the future of Noble Elementary students shining bright. In Golden Valley, Shannon Slatton, CCX News.
Still ahead, a Golden Valley Police Christmas tradition.
But first, Osseo pro boxer Caleb Truax is in London as he takes aim at a world title this weekend. John Jacobson has the details next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. Pro boxer Caleb Truax will fight for the IBF World Super Middleweight title this Saturday in London, England. This will be Truax's first time in his 10-year career fighting outside the U.S. Jason Milillo caught up with the Osseo native before Truax headed overseas and has this report.
Caleb Truax was eager to get a big fight before the end of the year, and his wish came true. Truax will battle British fighter James DeGale for the IBF Super Middleweight title on Saturday night at Copper Box Arena in London.
It's a little bit of a difference when you have to travel that far. It's like a 10-hour flight and a 6-hour time change, so you got to kind of give yourself a day or two to adjust to the change and acclimate to everything over there. But all my guys have been over there numerous times with other fighters, so they kind of have told me what to do and what to expect, and so I don't think it'll be a problem at all.
DeGale is slick in the ring and at his best when he can box and move, but Truax believes that pressuring DeGale and forcing him to fight will make the Brit vulnerable.
I want to bring him into a war and make it a kind of a street fight and just an all-action type of brawl, and I think that type of fight favors me instead of him.
Truax suffered a couple of tough defeats in recent years, including a knockout loss in his bid for the middleweight title against Daniel Jacobs in 2015. But Truax is still standing and ready to leave it all in the ring in London.
Chalk it up as experience, and what I learned from those fights, I just apply it to this fight and just go about it, man. I'm a fighter, and I don't shy down from challenges, and no matter who it is. And most fighters never had the opportunity to fight for a title once, and this is my second shot. And if I lose this, I might not ever get another one, so I have to make the most of it.
The Truax-DeGale fight will not be broadcast on American television, but you can watch it online. Showtime Sports will live stream the fight on its YouTube channel and on its Facebook page. Live coverage will start around 1:50 p.m. our time Saturday. As we showed you yesterday, the Wayzata boys basketball team won its season opener Tuesday night. As Jay Wilcox reports, the Trojans will try to build on last year's historic season.
In a school that wins state titles on a regular basis, success is often expected. But the Wayzata boys basketball team opened some eyes last season by reaching the state tournament for the first time since 1959. That accomplishment was felt throughout the program.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Last year we kind of had to prove ourselves, and now we're just we're trying to live up to the expectations of last year. So
I think people in the program are more excited. I think probably even the lower levels, it has a bigger impact on them. Our travel teams right now are doing outstanding. They're off to a great start, and I think the energy that had created has helped them just be more excited about, I'm going to go out my driveway and work today because I want what those guys got.
This season, a lot of new faces will be in the Trojans lineup. Like the two other state semifinalists from our area, Champlain Park and Maple Grove, graduation hit Wayzata hard.
I mean, it's a different team year to year, as last year we were different than the year before with Johnny's class graduating, and I think we can be just as good as we were last year.
The Trojans do return 3 good guards, and that's not a bad place to start. Senior Drew Gallinson and junior Jacob Benega started last season while Luke Paulson was a key sub. They'll provide leadership and plenty of good plays.
I think any coach should tell you if you can choose, you want to return guards. You want to return, to have a point guard that returns, in our case we have 2, and we also have another very good guard that returns in Drew. And that's a big help to us.
one of our main focuses is talking to those younger guys and kind of working them through plays, and because it's hard for them to talk when they don't really know what's going on.
Another new face for Wayzata, former Armstrong and University of Wisconsin star John Bryant joins the coaching staff this season. Some young players will have to step up for Wayzata, particularly on a front line that isn't as big or strong as last season's. But the Trojans don't expect their recent run of success to end anytime soon. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
The Trojans face Woodbury at the Breakdown Tip-Off Classic Saturday at Hopkins. They host Lakeville North next Tuesday. That's all for sports. Alex and Mike, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Up next, some of Santa's best helpers use a police car to make deliveries.
We'll be right back.
And finally, a Golden Valley Police holiday tradition.
Now, for 23 years, dozens of Golden Valley officers helped Toys for Tots collect and deliver toys at Christmas time. This video is from last December. They will deliver again this year on December 14th, giving you another week to drop toys off at local police departments. And they remind donors not to forget gifts for older kids and teens. You can drop off toys at Golden Valley or Maple Grove police stations and many others. There's a list of sites on the Toys for Tots website. Again, a reminder, that big caravan is planned for next Thursday in Golden Valley. And if you haven't seen it before, it's quite a sight.
That's kind of neat, yeah.
And bring them some toys to put in the car.
I like the older kids note. That's a good one.
That's something to remember. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again on Friday, starting at 4 o'clock.